What up, guys? Welcome to episode 20 of Figureoutable, and today I'm going completely off script. I honestly didn't prepare for this episode because it has been a tumultuous past 3 weeks, to say the least. During that period of time, I've done a lot, I've learned a lot, I've seen a lot, and I've been doing interviews. Going back to the spirit of what this channel is all about, I wanted to share with you guys some specific reasons why I wouldn't hire a certain candidate that comes in. And by the way, I'm not hiring for super elite jobs. I'm not hiring for super well-paying jobs. And I know that. I recognize this. Going into this video, I don't want you guys to think that my expectations are too high because I'm not paying a six-figure salary. I'm not even paying close to that. The fact of the matter is that I have a small business that I run here, and we don't have the budget. We know we pay more than the typical wage for this type of job, but we know that it's a struggle to live and find balance in your life earning these types of wages. It can be done, which is why I stress the importance of budget building and being frugal and not spending money with your ego or your comfort to put yourself in a better financial position so that you can survive in a job that may not bring you the most fulfillment. Now, on the flip side of that, while I may not pay the most amount of money, I know that the job has its perks. The hours are favorable. We don't have you working super early, super late. You don't have to take your work home with you, and you get to work in a pretty positive, fun environment where it's air conditioned and there's a lively energy throughout the warehouse. It's really not that bad of a job, but there's a lot of moving parts. Time after time when I interview a candidate, I'm left with this really tough question. Do I see the good in someone? And is it a wise business decision for me to hire them? And the fact of the matter is that it would be easier for me in some ways to follow my heart and hire every single person that comes through my doors with a good heart or a good head on their shoulders in some way, because I can see the potential in them. If I have 5 candidates that come through, the one with the least skills, the ones with the worst personalities, and I don't really want to sound critical when I say that, they become a bad business decision that jeopardizes my business, my culture, my team if I hire them. If you're watching this video and you may fall into that category, what I want to do is give you the feedback in this video that I'm legally not allowed to give you as an employer, or I would expose myself to too much risk. If you can understand what I'm putting down here, what I'm trying to tell you is that every employer you interview with has an HR rule book they have to follow when not hiring somebody. And quite frankly, it's not doing you any favors. They're not able to tell you that you suck. And sometimes you need to hear that, because otherwise, if there's no pain to initiate change, you're just not going to do it. So the video today, I'm going to show you some body language cues. I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that I experience, and I'm going to tell you why I can't hire certain people. The first and most important thing, and we touched on this in a previous video, if you are late, you're immediately disqualified. In the last 2 weeks, we've had multiple candidates not show up to interviews. I pay you to interview here, so it's a working interview. I've had candidates show up late. I've had candidates freaking out because they can't find the place, even though they've been provided the address. What that tells me is there's no planning and preparation. So I don't care how nice you are, I don't care how great your personality is. If you've proven to me that you can be inconsistent on an interview, you don't get the job. I'm not going to jeopardize my organization just because I want to be nice. That's not how the world works. Unfortunately, the responses that I have to give candidates is, I'm really sorry, we decided to go with another candidate. Even though my soul is screaming to tell somebody more real feedback to get them to change, I can't do it. So if you're late, it's not going to work. If you can't find the place because you can't plan, and you're planning to show up at 10 o'clock on the dot, which is when the interview starts, you're literally planning to be late. If you're showing up to an interview, this is what you got to do. Look it up on your phone. Figure out how long it's going to take for you to get there, and plan to be there 15 to 20 minutes before the scheduled interview time. That's just going to show the employer a level of preparedness. Now, you might be saying, oh, you don't pay that much for the job, so why does it matter? Well, it matters because a person who's going to show up late on my interview is going to show up late at any interview. How you do anything is how you do everything. And so you shouldn't be looking for circumstances of life that are so profound and amazing that that's the only time you put energy in and do the right thing. No, you tie your shoelaces in life because it's the right thing to do, not because somebody's paying you 6 figures to do it. So for anybody watching this video who's going to sit there and scoff at me and say, oh, stop taking it so seriously, that's not what this video is about. The video is about giving people feedback who do suck at interviewing so that they can change something and stop getting hit on the head from life. Energy. This is not some spiritual mumbo jumbo when I talk about energy. I'm talking about, what does your body language say? What does your voice sound like? How do you carry yourself? Some people walk into the office slunched over like this. Eyes are looking down onto the ground. Handshake is limp. What I want you to do instead is stand in front of a mirror, look at your posture, and put your arms back. It might seem awkward, it might seem uncomfortable, because quite frankly, if you're interviewing and you're walking in like this, that's how you've been carrying yourself for years. You're doing it wrong, okay? I don't care if that's what your friends do, I don't care if that would seem comfortable, and I don't care if both your parents talk down to you and treat you like crap so that you feel like crap and you carry it with you everywhere you go. If you don't change it now, you won't have a better life. So, talking about body language, if you're nervous, if you're uncomfortable, there's a couple things you can do to bring yourself some balance. This is taught in public speaking courses across the country. Whenever you're nervous, you spread your feet out a little bit, you tuck your shoulders back, you put your hands on your hips, and you take a deep breath. So before you walk into my place of business, and before you even start the interview process, if you're feeling a little shaky, it's totally okay, but do this. And also understand something. If you're nervous and you come through my doors, I'm only going to see that as a sign of respect. I'm not bothered at all by somebody whose voice is a little bit shaky or hands are trembling a little bit, unless I think it's an alcohol problem, in which case don't come to my place of business. What I'm trying to say is being nervous is a sign that you care. And it's really important. Sometimes the people who are way too cool for school and they don't show any nervousness at all tell me they don't really care about this job. They're not really all that interested. And so one of the things we've done as an employer to be a little different from the rest is we do working interviews. I don't care who you are. I'll pay you for 3 hours of work. You get to come here and interview us just like we and my team get to interview you. If you come in here and you're schlepping, do you know what schlepping is? It's dragging the soles of your shoes across the floor. Whenever a person schleps, sorry, can't deal with it. It's something that's bothered me for a really long time. Thanks, Mom. Anyways, it tells me that you're not going to have any urgency. You're not going to create agency in your own life. You're going to be very, very slow. And in order for me to break you down and build you back up, I have to become a drill instructor. And I wear way too many hats to be that abrasive and aggressive to reform you as a person. So when it comes back down to that whole business decision thing, I might see a good heart and I might see that you're a good person and I might see that you're lost and you need some guidance in life. And my soul yearns to be able to provide that to somebody and cultivate them. But when the next candidate comes through my door and doesn't have any of the same problems as you, it is a dumb decision for me to hire you. You might be wondering why you're not hearing back from employers, and I can tell you that it's probably a couple of reasons. You showed up late and you brought crap energy through the door. This really upset me. One specific instance really upset me and got me thinking for a while. Like, how would I fix this if I was you? If I schlepped and I had bad energy, and I didn't know how to speak to people, and my vocal intonation was really quiet, and I talked like this all the time because I have no confidence, right? But I also don't have any resources, and there's no mentors in my circle. Like my friends, they are all very much the same. What would I do to change, right? I have no access to resources. I'm probably not going to ever watch a video like the one I'm making right now. What am I going to do? I'm going to pick up some hobbies. Some hobbies that don't cost money. I'm going to find a local park where there's some people playing football or basketball. And even if I suck, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try. Chances are the people that are out there playing games and having fun are not that serious. So even if I suck, they're not going to be assholes to me. And it's going to give me an opportunity to make some friends. Now, the second part of this is that once you've exposed yourself to something outside of your current circle of crap, which is exactly what is responsible for you coming through my door as a disheveled mess who's unhireable, is I'm going to try and find the guys or the gals that are there at the park that I really get along with, that seem to have some stuff figured out and have a really good personality. And those are the types of people I'm going to try and earn to get into their circle. If you don't have any good people in your life right now, and you don't have a guiding star for how to live a better life, you feel absolutely lost. And you're like a ship on the wide ocean with no sail and no rudder. How are you going to get where you want to go? Where do you even want to go, right? It's only through exposure to different people and people of value that you can confide in and trust and grow with. That's going to give you any sense of purpose or direction, especially if you're that lost, that you schlepped through my doors, could not shake my hand, could not make eye contact, and your voice was barely audible. So it's through picking up hobbies and developing yourself as a person. And this is what I talk about with my sales guys all the time. Legitimately, I have customers in my book of business that I enjoy talking to so much, I don't even want to do business with them. I enjoy talking with them. The benefit of doing business together is that we get to make money together. And the only reason why I can cultivate such relationships is because I've cultivated myself and I've learned about the things that I like in this world, and I then share something with these people and can get them to talk about their interests. So right now, if you are looking for a job and the only interests that appeal to you are playing video games, smoking weed, or sitting on the couch, right? You need new friends. And you need new hobbies. I'm not saying to go abandon your brothers and sisters, the people you grew up with and you've known for your whole life. But if they're not serving you, it's time for an upgrade. So it's not just upgrading the people, it's upgrading the activities that you either do or don't do. So again, back to the whole thing. If I'm at the lowest point in my life where I have no hobbies, no skills, no access to anything, then I'm going to pick up a hobby that doesn't cost any money. So I'm going to go to a public park and I'm going to meet some new people and I'm going to steal the behaviors that they have that I think are admirable, that I like, that I think I could benefit from. And lo and behold, you might actually come out of your shell and you might become more of a dynamic, energized human being. I am an introvert, but everybody calls me an extrovert. Everybody says I'm the most outgoing person. I'm like a mayor, blah, 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 all this stuff. But at one point in time, I was bullied, soft-spoken, and depressed. And that was an extremely important part of the voyage of my life. And I'm at a different place now. And I have the ability to do both. And if you're introverted and you tell people that you're introverted, the chances are you're really meant to be an extrovert. You just haven't worked on yourself enough to feel the confidence to throw your shoulders back, take a deep breath, and force the world around you to accept you for who you are, because the world is already accepting tons of trash people, and you're not one of them. So why would you feel like it's an imposition for you to have some confidence, walk around like you own the place every once in a while? You owe it to yourself. Some of the stuff that I don't like on interviews, but I try not to get caught up on, and normally can get over, would be like a little bit too much confidence. If somebody seems like, oh, I got this job in the bag, generally it's not a good look. I'll allow it if they've got a good personality, they're asking questions, going back and forth, and I can get a sense for who they are as a person. If I feel like they're gonna fit in with my team back there, and that's extremely important to me, then I might put up with a little bit of cockiness on an interview. I want you to feel confident. My only issue with it is that I don't know you yet enough to know whether or not that confidence is cockiness or the real deal. So another thing is if somebody doesn't have any questions. This one's a weird one. I realize that some people don't have questions because they just desperately need a job and don't want to do anything to lose it. The other side of that is that the person who doesn't have any questions wasn't really with me here in the interview. They weren't really thinking about the things that we were saying or asking or describing, and so when it comes to the questions, they weren't paying attention enough to have any of them. I love it when candidates ask questions, but it doesn't mean that it's a surefire way for them to be successful. Recently, I hired and fired an employee who, during the interview process, asked me if they would be able to be taught everything about the company. And I thought that that was a really unique question, and I loved it. But the moment that person showed up to work here, they basically lost all their energy and became a zombie. And I think there was more to that story, but the work quality, aside from just the energy, wasn't there. So we had to part ways. I love questions. When I don't get any questions, that becomes a pet peeve. It shows me that you're either not engaged or you don't really care what kind of job you have. And if you don't really care what kind of job you have and you're not really thinking about where you want to work or what kind of boss you want to have, I don't know if I want you on the team, because nothing really matters to you. It goes back to the whole class clown mentality. If life is nothing but a joke and you're afraid to take anything seriously because if you do, God forbid you fail, what will people think then? Then that's not really a team player. That's not somebody who's going to put their effort in. I got some amazing people on the team right now who go out of their way to show energy and excitement, and those people are going to get rewarded with greater responsibility, upward pay, and appreciation. And I'm going to support them, and I'm going to give them support in every way that I possibly can. Okay, so let's recap. I'm not going to beat the dead horse here, but there's a couple of things I want to get my point across. If you're lost and you got no energy, you got no sauce. And if you got no sauce, you're lost. So my recommendation to those of you who are watching this right now that don't have anything going for them positive in their life, pick up a new hobby, make it a physical hobby, even if you suck at that thing. Check out your body language. Have a friend record you on a video, let's say a video interview. During that period, have them record it and then ask them for some feedback that's going to suck. Watch yourself. Listen to your intonation. Hearing yourself on the phone is extremely eye-opening because how my voice sounds in my own ear is a lot better than it sounds in front of these videos. Hearing myself and watching myself speak and seeing how many times I fling my hands and how I post my shoulders, what I'm doing with my eyebrows. Am I expressive? Am I going to keep your interest? That's all extremely important stuff. And you guys owe it to yourself to do an investigation. So check out your body language. Check out your vocals. How do you sound? How do you look? And then the last part about it would be grab a journal, buy a journal, find an old notepad, and sit down and write your thoughts out. Get to know yourself. If you know yourself, you can know other people. If you know yourself, you can know what to fix. And if you've got anxiety nagging at your back every single day because you have problems that you're avoiding in your life, it's going to show through in how you carry yourself. It's going to keep you introverted when you're really destined to be an extrovert, when you're destined to go make amazing relationships and friendships and level up your life. So journal, get to know yourself. If you truly are an introvert, then you should have no problem sitting down and writing out your own thoughts. As always, I appreciate you guys watching these videos. If you got any questions down below, drop them. If you were one of the people that interviewed here and didn't get the job, then work on yourself a little bit and try again. There's always another time. Have a great day.